So actually moving into the public blockchain environment when we can will be much of a sort of a lift and drop scenario.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up your seatbelts because in today's video breakdown, I'm going to absolutely blow your mind with what I have put together for you all, showing you all insights from industry-leading experts that they are for a fact telling us that as retail investors, we are currently beating the banks, that they are for a fact in the process of building out this infrastructure to integrate tier one banks into public blockchains, to adopt public blockchains, that trillions of dollars are about to flood into this space. And it's all happening right now behind the scenes. This is the information that the mainstream is not going to share with you all or post or put together for you guys. So do me a favor to help boost the algorithm. If you enjoy these types of video breakdowns, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, as it does help this channel grow and boost the algorithm to push these videos out to more individuals like yourselves. Now, I'm going to share with you guys who we're going to be listening to today, because this is going to I'm telling you guys right now, if you stick around to the entirety of this video breakdown, it is going to literally blow your socks away what it is that we're piecing together for you guys here at CYPRX. Okay. And I don't want to get too specific on any one project or blockchain. I know that there's a whole debate right now whether the Dtcc is going to use XRP or Chainlink or whatever. By the end of today's video breakdown, I hope to convey to you guys that they are going to be adopting multiple different public blockchains, multiple different public networks. It's not just going to be one digital asset or one network or one chain to rule them all, right? So does XRP have a place in the future in this digital infrastructure? Absolutely. Does Chainlink? Absolutely. Does XLM? Absolutely. HBAR? Absolutely. You have to do your research and you have to understand that it's not just going to be one that rules them all. So hopefully in today's video breakdown, when we get to the documentation part of this, this research breakdown, you guys will see that, because they specifically say that in the vocabulary that they use. So who are we going to be listening to today? We're going to be listening to, I'm going to briefly just go through this so you guys understand that these are people with credentials, many more credentials than I myself or anybody that you're most likely listening to on Twitter and YouTube right now, especially the naysayers and the doubters in this space. I mean, I can't even believe that people can't see this, especially after a video breakdown like this. So Wisdom Tree, we have the founder and chief executive officer, Jonathan Steinberg. We'll get rid of that. Moving on, we have Nadine Shakar. She is, let's just scroll down here. She is the Dtcc digital assets lead. Then we come over here. We have G. Daniel. He serves as a managing director, chief technology officer at the Dtcc. Moving on, we got Copper, digital asset infrastructure developed in partnership with pioneering institutions. And we have today speaking Dmitry Tokarov, chief executive officer at Copper. Then we also have Tyrone Lobin, who is the head of blockchain launch and Onyx digital assets, right? And then last but not least, we're going to be listening to a little tiny snippet from Avi Feldman. He is the head of digital asset trading at Golden Tree Asset Management. So now that that is out of the way, let's kick it off and let's set the tone with the Wisdom Tree CEO, literally telling you guys that we are beating the banks. And then this is going to freaking blow your mind, because I posted this June 1st, 2024, ladies and gentlemen. I told you guys that right now we have the upper hand over the banks. This got 43,000 impressions on the X space. Okay. Then we're going to listen to a video clip that just dropped 1 hour ago on Chainlink's YouTube profile of this lady from the Dtcc mentioning the same exact thing. This is so freaking crazy that she says this publicly on YouTube, that retail has the upper hand on the banks right now. This is what the mainstream media will never show you, people. Oh my gosh, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe after you watch these video clips. Let's just roll this. This just gets my blood going, because wow, the fact that these people are telling you guys this straight to your faces and people still think that this space is a scam, that it's going away, that they shouldn't have some type of investment allocated into this space is absolutely mind-blowing. Again, not financial advice, teach his own, do your own research, but let's just take a second and listen to what I'm going to play these videos back to back. Let's take a second and listen to what they say here.
Important milestone on this journey of normalizing the asset class, as well as bringing things onto the blockchain in general. And so I think it's very, very constructive. Still, almost all of the money is retail, which is interesting. Even with BlackRock's great success, almost all that money is retail. There's just inherent demand. Usually in investing, retail gets the last look. Here, they've gotten the lion's share of the benefit of a $60,000 coin, which is nice for retail to be a winner.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the investors in spot Bitcoin ETFs?
Right. So you guys heard it right there. Retail has the lion's share of the benefits. It's nice for retail to be a winner. Okay. And that just completely correlates with what this representative from the DTCC just said on a video released only an hour ago. CYPRX research team always at the forefront of putting this information out to you guys. Remember, I posted that video back in June telling you guys that that was the case. Okay. Now we have this lady right here from the DTCC saying the same exact thing. Take a second and let's listen to what she has to say here.
Said the institutions are coming, the institutions are coming. So as one famous Bostonian once said, the institutions are coming, the institutions are coming, right? And we're starting to see progress where more certainty in the market is helping institutional adoption, such as the approvals of FIT21, other instruments, both ETH and Bitcoin, spot ETFs. Those have been super helpful in pushing the movement forward. It just shows you there's pinned up demand. It is pushing through. There's a couple of things that are a little bit different about this. This is the first time in our history where we've seen actually retail lead and institutional follow, but the certainty that we're getting right now from the regulatory and the legal frame.
Yo, what? This is the first time in our history that retail is leading and institutions are following. Ladies and gentlemen, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I cannot believe that an individual representative from the DTCC just confirmed that. That should show you guys that the information that we're putting out here at CYPRX, when we're posting these video breakdowns, it's not hopium, it's not hype, right? I'm not trying to get you guys to believe in some narrative that doesn't exist. This is coming from one of the largest financial, if not the largest outside of SWIFT, financial institutions, right? Financial organizations of this world telling you all to your face that we as retail traders have the upper hands against financial institutions right now. That is mind blowing. So let's transition. I had to hype the video up and started off there, started off with a freaking banger just to show you guys how just monumental the rest of this video breakdown is going to be. Okay. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the platform, watch some of our previous video breakdowns if you're new here. And if you aren't new here, man, let me tell you what, we have been delivering gems left and right. You guys know that to be the case. So let's dive into some more of these video clips. We're going to get into them discussing and talking about how they're building out the infrastructure right now for tier 1 financial institutions to onboard into this space. And they're running through proof of concepts right now in order for them to migrate away from proof of concepts and apply this into the real world. And then we're going to read through a document from the DTCC and Chainlink in an experiment and a proof of concept that they just ran, showing you guys that's to be the case. So let's just take a second. We're going to transition over here to another video clip. And as always, the video clips that I'm showing you guys, they what is the word I'm looking for? They coexist with each other. They're saying the same exact thing. These people that are building out the infrastructure, they're saying the same exact thing because they are the ones sitting in on these private meetings with each other, doing this behind the scenes. So let's take a second and listen to them. I'm going to play these videos back to back. I'm not going to intermingle in between so we can get this video out of the way. I don't want it to be too long, but listen to what this gentleman says. This is the individual representative from Copper. Again, an organization helping build out the institutional infrastructure. And then we're going to transition back to the DTCC representative, mention the same exact thing. So take a second and let's listen to this representative from Copper say that they're building out the infrastructure for tier 1 banks.
Which I mean, to the point where actually, like from Copper standpoint, when we're thinking about hiring executives, we like thinking about who's going to win the elections. It's like, sure, it's which is a little bit strange, but. And from the larger players standpoint, and I'm talking about, you know, your tier 1, tier 2 banks coming in and providing this infrastructure, I think this will unlock massive amounts of other assets and players entering into the space.
Boom, right? Tier 1 banks coming into the space, building out the infrastructure will unlock the potential for many more participants to enter into this space. Now we're going to transition and we're going to listen to this representative right here. Again, DTCC representative, lead of digital assets, say the same exact thing. Take a second and listen here.
Now for about 10 years, there's been a lack of a unifying organization, a center of gravity, if you will, to bring the industry all together. And that's where DTCC comes into this process. So we are looking at a multifaceted approach to try to bring the industry together. One, by rolling out the products that Dan and his team are building. So that is really looking at the entire life cycle of tokenization. So it's really the entire life cycle where Dan and the team have done some amazing things. And he always talks about its compliance first, which is really important in our industry and also as part of DTCC, right? We look after the safety and soundness of the markets, and we intend to do that as we move forward with digital infrastructure. The second component is really creating environments where we can finally move away from these individual one-offs, proof of concepts, and start to move into production. And then the third component is working, again, with the industry and the fintech providers out there to build what's called a tier one setup, which is resilient. But the whole idea is to really do for digital assets what we do for traditional assets and have a resilient, scalable, and interoperable environment. So that is what we're striving to do. We want to be the
Right. So I'll leave it there. She literally just said that they're building out the infrastructure right now for tier one. She literally mentioned tier one. Financial institutions to come into this space. They want to move away from proof of concepts. Did you all hear that part? That was her number 2 portion right there. She said they want to move away from proof of concepts. Same thing that the copper individual representative mentioned. Okay. So now let's get into this document. This is a document from May 2024, so it's relatively recent. SmartNav pilot report. Okay, this was between the DTCC, large financial organizations, and Chainlink. All right, just taking a look at some of the large financial institutions outside of the DTCC that were embedded into this proof of concept. We have JP Morgan, which is going to play a role here in just a second, Franklin Templeton, US Bank, Invesco, State Street, BNY Mellon. All right, and so we're just going to read a couple of different highlights from this particular report. And so here it mentions and talks about the path forward. All right. Now, the couple of different highlights and key things that I want to read, let's just get into this. Number 6, let's go down here. All right. So it says, based on the findings, we see an opportunity to potentially, let's go back up here. So in its simplest form, SmartNav, and I know that you guys might not be able to read this print because it's kind of tiny on the screen, but it provides the capability to make trusted, verifiable data available virtually on any blockchain network. Keep in mind, remember, I said at the beginning of this breakdown, we're not going to, particularly focus on whether it's going to be Chainlink that wins the race or XRP or XLM or HBAR, whatever. They're building this out so that way multiple networks and multiple blockchains can be utilized. To support the use of data and business workflows, the DTCC served as the provider or sourcer of that data, as well as the governor of the on-chain solution that stores the data, while the CCIP served as the interoperable layer. Now, if you all are not too familiar with what the CCIP is, it talks about that down here in this portion of the report. So it mentions right down here, it says, Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol, which is the CCIP, is the industry standard for securely integrating existing systems across any blockchain. Now, down here, it does mention the network which enables institutions to apply predefined controls around transactional activity to help ensure regulatory and organizational compliance. Major market infrastructures and institutional banks, such as SWIFT and ANZ, and many others, have successfully used Chainlink to demonstrate that financial institutions can use existing infrastructure and messaging standards to interact with tokenized assets across blockchains. Again, key vocabulary, across blockchains, plural, through the CCIP's blockchain abstraction layer. Back to the portion where it talks about some key takeaways. All right. Because here it says this capability can support future industry exploration. Again, future industry exploration, and can power numerous downstream use cases as well, such as the brokerage portfolio application's additional benefits include real-time, more automated data dissemination and built access to historical data. Then it also mentions here, based on these findings, we see an opportunity to potentially expand the scope of the pilot to explore how the technical capabilities leveraged in pilot could power a broader range of use cases beyond the dissemination price and rate data and across a greater number of blockchains, right? There again, we see the plural terminology, blockchains, multiple. So I don't want you guys, just because they're proof of concepting with Chainlink, to think, oh, they're only going to use Chainlink. They're literally telling you in their documents that it's going to be multiple. different blockchains that, again, all coexist in the future in an interoperable fashion moving forward. And I wanted to portray that to you guys because they're telling you in their documentation. Now let's move on and get back to the video clips. Again, if you're enjoying this so far, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We're going to go back to the DTCC. And now this is going to prove something that I've shared with you guys before. The individual Tyrone Lobin from JP Morgan mentioning that they are building out the infrastructure in such a way so that way they can drag and drop over onto public blockchains when the regulatory environment exists in such a way that allows them to do so. Let me prove that, because again, I showed you guys this video breakdown. Let's get into this real quick. I showed you guys this video breakdown of Tyrone Lobin mentioning this, that is how they're building out the system. We'll play that in just 1 second. And then again, this lady from the DTCC via a video clip that was just shared only 2 hours ago mentions the same exact thing, that they are attempting to move to public blockchain rails. So let's just listen to a couple of different video clips here. We're going to start with this one from the DTCC. Let's go to 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Sorry, excuse me. It's not the lady that mentions this. It's the gentleman from the DTCC that mentions this. So take a second and listen here.
3 specific cases that we think are really the next few years will be dominated by these cases. The first is private markets. So private markets in general are very disjointed. Many private market transactions occur really managed by spreadsheets in most cases, and in some cases by systems that are disconnected and dissimilar. This makes liquidity in private markets very difficult, and transactions that might involve even lending or borrowing against assets are virtually impossible. On blockchain rails, that really changes everything, where the full life cycle of a private market asset can really be managed efficiently, and that will open things and really blend private markets with public markets.
You all heard that, right? Blockchain rails change everything.
On blockchain rails, that really changes everything, where the full life cycle of a private market asset can really be managed efficiently, and that will open things and really blend private markets with public markets.
This is what's really going to blend private markets with public markets. He word for word said that just now. Okay. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from an individual representative from the DTCC. Now, do you guys remember what this gentleman said? Avi Fellman, the individual representative from Golden Tree, said on stage at Token 249 just a couple of months ago. Take a second and let's listen to what he says, because he mentioned the same exact thing, that blockchain and crypto rails are so much better for traditional financial players to be building on.
And so what is the value of DeFi today relative to what people perceived the value of DeFi might have been 3 years ago? Well, the value is that it's actually easier and faster and better to build financial products on a DeFi stack than it is to build it on the old traditional financial stack that was built over the last 50 years. And that's why you're seeing major banks, major PBs start to build things like tokenized money market funds. Because they see this and they say, oh, the crypto rails are actually better for trading these traditional assets than the current rails that we have. So we're going to move over slowly.
Right? So they're going to move over slowly. Now, let me play another video clip from this individual representative right here that mentions to the audience, we all agree that trillions of dollars are going to come into public blockchains. He specifically says that. Now, keep in mind what the DTCC representative just said, what the other individual representative just said, and listen to what he says here. Word for word, you cannot make this stuff up. Take a second and let's listen to what this gentleman here says.
Prompt Labs is to help others fast follow in figure lending's footsteps by building the dApps and the tools that regulated financial services firms need to come on chain efficiently. And, so we're taking a big step back. I think everyone in this room agrees that we're going to see billions or actually trillions of dollars of financial assets ledgered on public blockchains over the next several years, decade, maybe decades, billions, or actually, I think everyone in this room chain efficiently. And, so we're taking a big step back. I think everyone in this room agrees that we're going to see billions or actually trillions of dollars of financial assets ledgered on public blockchains over the next several years, decade, maybe decades, depending on your view.
So you guys heard it there. He literally said, I believe everybody in this room agrees that we're going to see billions, and then he corrected himself, I mean trillions of dollars come onto public blockchains over the next couple of years, right? Now, this is, I'm telling you guys right now, the research that we're doing here at CYPRX, nobody's putting this information out to you guys in such a way for you to easily understand it. So do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Do you all remember a video breakdown that we found from back in 2023 of an individual representative from JP Morgan? And we told you guys that this is how they're building out the system. So take everything that you've now heard from all these representatives leading up until this point. Now we're going to go back in time to a video that we shared of an individual from JP Morgan mentioning that this was all how they were building out the system. And now we're in 2024 seeing them mention all of these things, okay? That retail has the upper hand. They're building out the infrastructure right now for financial institutions to come on chain and adopt. Specifically, they're mentioning public blockchains, i.e. migrating from private to public, private running all these proof of concepts, right? Testing out all of these chains, all of these blockchain networks and whatnot. So that way they can be comfortable once the regulatory environment greenlights them to migrate over to public blockchains because it's more efficient and effective, right? Listen to what this representative says, and I'll cut the video here. Wow, this one was a banger. Again, do me a favor. It does help boost the algorithm if you click or smash that thumbs up button, and make sure that you're subscribed to the platform so you don't miss a beat on any of our further video breakdowns. Listen to what this rep says.
Of the transition from private institutional blockchains to maybe more public, or what you guys are using today. And Eric, I know you have really interesting opinions on where that's going to go in the future.
Yeah, and maybe I can just provide a little bit of context in terms of just the traditional financial services market and how we think about the requirements really to be able to operate a safe and sound system. So JP Morgan processes about $10 trillion of payments every day. That's 400 times the global stablecoin daily volume. The global FX market is about $5 trillion. And so when we think about utilizing blockchains as a settlement layer, we need the infrastructure to actually support these volumes, and we need them to support the scale that the traditional financial services market is at. So right now, clearly, there are a number of reasons, both technological-wise, but also regulatory-wise, as to why we have to use permissioned blockchains. However, you can think about these, globally ever-present, always up, highly redundant public blockchains as a really, really attractive settlement layer that can, service this global market. However, until we actually solve some of the key challenges, specifically around privacy, specifically around things like AML, KYC, it does become difficult for us to fully step into that environment. We did a project last year with the Monetary Authority of Singapore where we demonstrated what it would actually look like for a regulated institution like ourselves to utilize public DeFi protocols, to utilize public blockchains. And very clearly, there were lots of very insightful learnings for us. The transparency that you get around DeFi pools, for example, the ability to have anytime price discovery through a DeFi protocol, very, very important and interesting. Also, the lower cost. But as I said, until we actually have some clarity around the ability to actually operate on this infrastructure from a reg perspective, we're going to have to be in this sort of permission view until we can take some of the hybrid steps. And those hybrid steps look like some of the existing infrastructure that is coming out right now around subnets or permission zones or these kinds of things. And from our perspective, the reason why we operate an EVM sidechain is so that everything that we build can actually be portable into a public environment. So all of our contracts are written in Solidity. We use ERC20s for the most part for our tokens. All of our developer tooling is, utilizes the public Ethereum ecosystems tooling set. So actually moving into the public blockchain environment when we can will be much of a sort of a lift and drop scenario.
I cannot believe that people aren't putting this stuff together. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody else is putting this information together for you guys like we are here at CYPRX. You heard it right there from the horse's mouth. We're putting all of this together in order for us to build a lift and drop or drag and drop scenario when the regulatory environment allows it for us to migrate into public blockchains. Like, take into consideration what the lady from the Dtcc just said, what the CEO of Wisdom Tree just said about how retail investors have the upper hand over financial institutions. Do not sleep on this massive opportunity. Please do your research. Don't marry a bias and think that it's going to be one digital asset to rule them all. Diversify and join like-minded communities like ours here at CYPRX that is putting out this information months in advance. We were telling people that this was how they were building out the infrastructure months in advance. This particular video breakdown still only has 560 views. Our CYPRX researchers have detailed notes on this video breakdown stuck in our private Discord for the members to go and learn and educate themselves about what's really happening via the perspectives of these large organizations behind the scenes in our Discord. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, many blessings to you guys, always bringing you guys just the realest information that the internet has to offer on this digital asset space. I cannot stress enough that now is not the time to be thinking that this is a scam, that this asset class is going away. Instead, do your research, join like-minded communities, be forward-looking, and again, teach his own, assess your own risk properly, don't over-leverage, be able to stomach the short-term volatility, and understand the long-term perspective. Many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant out there, be aware, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.